Wine, in my opinion, is much like a living entity. You have to look out for it because it is susceptible to certain elements that can cause it to turn, spoil, or just not be as good as it could be, he says. So before you pour out another bottle that's gone off, follow his advice below to preserve wine like a pro. The best way, without spending any money at all, to preserve your wine after it's been opened is to put the cork back in as far down as you can push it and keep it in the refrigerator, even if it is the world's biggest full-bodied Cabernet, Cooper says. The cooler temperatures slow down the progress of the microorganisms and other factors that cause wine to turn. When wine is exposed to the sun for extended periods of time, there is a reaction that occurs creating the classic, wet newspaper, smell that is not appealing to any wine drinker. Generally speaking, I have had better luck at home with full-bodied red wines with higher tannin and alcohol content, Cabernet Sauvignon, Malbec, Barolo, etc., and white wines with a high acidity level, Riesling, Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Gris, etc., or preservation, he says. The alcohol, tannin and acidity help preserve the quality of the wine, which is why a lot of these wines can age unopened for many years. Again, this is speaking very generally and there are many exceptions to this rule, but this is a little cheat sheet that may help on a smaller scale. Cooking tips we learned from this season of Top Chef. A Pappy Van Winkle bourbon heist is the subject of a new true crime documentary on Netflix. The Tour de France has its own champagne for VIPs, the best Argentine Malbecs to drink right now. Why a Massachusetts bar decided to accept Monopoly money. Taco Bell's new Naked Chalupa uses a plant-based chicken, shell guava and cheese bread pudding. Forget fake meat. Wendy's is testing a black bean burger. Subway's tuna sandwiches were tested again. No tuna DNA was found. F&W Game Changers. Next-gen flavor. This app will pay you in pizza to eat pizza. T-Mobile released its own 5G-inspired gin. Thief caught stealing 42,000 pounds of pistachios in California. White Castle and Puma collaborated on slider-inspired shoes. You'll never forget your first Scuppernong. Track star Christina Clemens makes U.S. Olympic team while wearing Cool Ranch Doritos earrings. Our rule of thumb in the restaurant is that if anything has been open longer than 2 days, we consider it to not have the same quality anymore and open a fresh bottle, Cooper says. While the refrigerator and cork method is the easiest pick and requires no additional cost, there are many other tools and gadgets that can extend the shelf life of your wine a bit longer. Cooper says that when he uses these at home, he's able to drink an opened bottle of wine for 4 or 5 days after corking it. At El Che and at my house, we use the VacuVin wine pumps. These are small, rubber stoppers, with a pump that work to pull out as much oxygen from the bottle as possible, Cooper says. It is probably the best wine preservation that you can get on the market and it is really cool, Cooper says. Essentially, the Coravin allows you to pour a glass of wine without removing the cork, therefore it never touches oxygen, he says. It does this by piercing the cork with a long, hollow needle, allowing the wine to be poured through the little spout on the end. There is also a small cartridge that contains a gas mixture that is meant to help preserve the wine without imparting any flavor. In theory, this will allow the wine to last indefinitely because the cork has never been pulled, Cooper says. Cheers to that. Enter email address.